Hi everyone, welcome back to the cave. My name is Nubs, and today I thought we'd go over the top 10 things that I wish I had known before I got into stained glass. Some of these are going to be fairly obvious and pretty straightforward, but I think they bear mentioning just because these are things that I, again, wish I knew before I got started. So let's get to it. Alright, my number one thing is that you don't need all the tools out there that exist. Like in any hobby, there are specialty tools and then there are basic tools. When you want to get started in stained glass, first of all, you may not even be sure if this is what you want. It's like anything else, it's a hobby, and like in any hobby, you'll either really enjoy it and you'll jump full steam ahead, or sometimes you're going to say, well, this is not really for me, it's not something I enjoy. So I don't recommend that you go out there and go buy all the great tools, because you're not going to need them. You're going to need to have the basics. You're going to need to have a glass cutter, and ideally you're going to have two pliers. You can have your running pliers and your grousing pliers. With these three things, you can make a myriad of different projects. The stuff you see above me over here, most of it can be done with very basic tools. I actually did a video not that long ago about unboxing a $30 toolkit from Amazon, which gave you those three tools. And they're almost identical to my good tools. And when I say good tools, the reality is, if I didn't know which one were the good one, aside from the nice grips on them, I wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. And I actually completed a project using those cheap tools. So you don't need the specialty stuff. Yes, there are bandsaws and there are specialty grinders, and there's even pliers, silver snip pliers that are $100 or $150 for these pliers. Are they great? Sure, they'll really help out in the long run. But if you're wanting to get started and you want to just learn, do I like stained glass? Is it worth it? Is it something I really want to get into? You don't need all the specialty stuff. So just keep that in mind. Right, my number two thing would be that soldering is not easy, but it doesn't have to be that difficult. People make it sound like it's this great obstacle to overcome, but it really isn't. Soldering is one of those things that, it's an art form into itself. You're putting it down, you may not get a nice bead right away. You're probably not going to get it in your first try, your second try, or your 10th try. You might get it on your 11th try, or you might get it on 100th try. It doesn't really matter. Soldering is forgiving. So if you don't like the bead, go back over it. You don't like it now, go back over it again. You can do it 100 times. It really doesn't matter. So soldering is difficult, but it doesn't have to be the end of the world. It's something that's very forgiving. So, if you're having a bad day, like we all do, you can clean your part, walk away, and come back and do it again later. It really doesn't matter. So the nice thing about solder is it's forgiving. You can take your time and learn. Ideally, you're going to do it on scrap glass and stuff like that. But if you're doing it on your first project and you want to go full tilt, it doesn't matter. You'll get it. Just give yourself the chance to make mistakes and then go back over it. My number three thing is that not all glass is the same. It sounds pretty straightforward, but it seems to trick a lot of people. There's glass that is hard glass, there's soft glass, there's wavy glass, all different textures out there. I recommend that when you're starting, you want something that's relatively smooth. Usually a shiny glass will be a fairly easy glass to work with. Stained glass stores where you're buying your glass will usually be able to give you an idea if you ask the people there. But don't, in my opinion anyways, don't start off with heavy textured glass, because you're going to find it that much harder. Start off with something, like I said, something that's smooth and something that's fairly simple, and then I think you'll have a much better end result. All right, my number four is similar to solder. Cutting glass is hard, but again, it doesn't have to be that difficult. I recommend that you go out into a window place, like a window manufacturer near you, see if they sell offcuts, or go to a stained glass store and ask for industrial glass. It's cheap. It's about half the price of any kind of stained glass out there. And the nice thing is it's clear, so when you're practicing, you can see your score marks, you can see how glass breaks, you can see how it's going to move along. Make circles, make squares, make rectangles. If you're doing a circle, you're going to see how the glass breaks. If it runs off, it'll give you an idea as to why it did that. It is the ideal glass to practice with. Again, there's different glasses out there, so when you're scoring, it may not always sound the same, but don't worry about it. Just keep going and apply the same pressure as you go along. Some glasses will start off hard and go to soft and have pockets and air. Don't worry about that. Just keep going. Keep moving forward. Score your lines. It will break slightly different depending on the glass that you have. But don't worry about making it always getting the right sound. Some people worry that I don't hear the score. Don't worry about it. Just keep going, and you'll be just fine. I recommend that you don't do it while sitting down. You know, if you're cutting your glass, you should always be over your part, so that you're getting nice, even, consistent pressure. If you're starting here, you know, you'll have good pressure, but then as you're moving along your part, you know, you're losing some of the pressure because you're sitting down. So stand up, be over your glass, you know, constant, consistent pressure, and you'll be just fine. All right, my number 5, practice. I know this sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's so important. In each one of the steps, whether it be your soldering, your foiling, your cutting, your grinding, it doesn't matter. It's always going to take some practice. It's like any other hobby. You know, you won't get it right the first time, but you're going to get it right eventually. You take the cheap glass, you know, when you're learning how to, you know, do your cutting. Great. Now foil those pieces. So you've cut a piece. You're going to have a perfect match. So then foil them. You're going to learn how to, you know, center your foil. You don't have to learn on your actual sun catcher. Learn on the cheap glass that you've just cut. It's perfect. It's, you know, it's off cut, so then, you know, you're not wasting much other than a little bit of foil. Thankfully, foil is relatively cheap. Once you have those things foiled, put on some flux and go ahead and solder. You're not making a part, but it doesn't matter. Just learn what you're doing. It's going to give you an idea of what's to come when you're getting into your very first project. So practice. Don't get overwhelmed. You know, each piece, you know, seems like it can be a little daunting when it comes to the cutting or the foiling or the soldering. But again, with practice, you're going to be much better. All right. My number 6 would be watch tutorials. Get in, you know, get out there on Facebook, get on to YouTube. It doesn't matter where you're going. You know, I'm a student of YouTube University. I learned how to do, you know, decorations for my house for Christmas. It's all run off a computer, and I learned it all on YouTube. The same thing can be said for just about any hobby. You can learn most of it on YouTube. If you have a stained glass store near you that offers courses, then take a course and learn from a pro. But if not, just get out there and watch some tutorials. Ideally, watch them, you know, start to finish before you get into your first project. Don't, you know, learn how do I cut glass, you know, take a video and then go and cut glass, and then how do I put foil, watch a video and then do it. You know, obviously you can do it however you feel comfortable and however you best learn, but ideally you just watch some tutorials before you get started, so you have an idea of what's to come, what the next step is, and, you know, just, you know, get as much information as you can. Like anything else, there's going to be some good and there's going to be some bad. There's bickering. There's, you know, this is the way you have to do it. This is the way you have to do it. The great thing about it, just about any hobby, is you do it the way you want to do it. You do it the way that you're comfortable, the way you feel is the right way to do it. Learn from 3 different places, and then take what you want, throw away the rest. That's the great thing about online learning, is that there's so much information out there, and you can learn it the way you want. Just, you know, take the information as best that you feel is the right way to do it, and then move forward. All right, my number 7 would be cleaning. Cleaning is, like many things, it's one of the number 1 things in this hobby. When you're cutting your glass, you want to sweep. If you get a lot of, you know, little glass shards, you want to have a little broom that's in your area. You want to make sure you sweep it off. You know, you don't want to be putting a nice piece of glass on top of a little shard of glass, which will end up scratching your glass. And you don't want to be swiping it with your hand. You want to be using a little broom. So you should have a little broom ready for cleaning your parts. You know, Quick Clean has been around forever. I've got a bottle that's 30 years old, and I've got new bottles. But you can make your own. You know, this is a mixture of water, baking soda, and Dawn dish soap. It works just as well. I've never had any issues with anything like that. But just, you know, cleaning is so important. So when you're grinding, when you're finished, you got to clean your part really well, because you don't want to be applying your copper foil, because the adhesive, you know, won't stick to it if there's glass, dust and stuff like that on it. So you got to clean it. Once you're finished doing that, you put on, you know, your foil, and then you're ready for soldering. You're going to be putting on flux. I always say that if you're going to start a project or a section of your project, you want to do start to finish. You don't want to stop in the middle. So if you're putting on your flux, you want to finish that part ideally. But if for whatever reason, like life happens, and you can't, you know, finish all of your soldering, take the 2 minutes, spray it off, wipe it off. You don't want to leave flux on your part, because, you know, it'll oxidize the copper. It'll just be a pain. You're gonna have to go back and clean it with like steel wool or something like that later, when you could have just sprayed it for 2 minutes, you know, get the part clean. Once you're finished your soldering, again, you still need to clean it off before you put on your patina. And then once you're done your patina, again, you need to clean it off. So it's so very important. You know, if you don't want to make a mixture like this, you don't want to buy a bottle like this, you can just use Dawn dish soap and you know, a soft sponge on your part. That'll clean it just as well. There's, you know, a myriad of different ways that you can clean a part, but just cleaning is so very important from start to finish to make sure that you end up with a nice result at the end. All right, number 8. This is a hot topic in many forums, is the fumes. People ask me all the time, do I have to worry about fumes? Am I breathing in something dangerous? You're gonna have people out there who say, I've been doing stained glass for 40 years and I've never had a respirator, and then others say, oh my god, at your own risk you should be wearing a full respirator and a full gown outfit. The one thing that is out there, that solder, when you're melting it with your iron, you're not melting the lead to a point where it's off gassing. You don't get hot enough to melt lead to that level. So you really shouldn't be too worried about that. When it comes to flux, the gel flux is typically off gas a lot less. You have a lot less smoke than if you have the oil-based ones. But ideally you're near a window, have a fan to blow it away from you, and you should be just fine. That's my take on it. Like again, there's 100 different takes on what you have to worry about with the fumes, but I would just say that when you're working with stained glass, either be near a window or make sure that you've got a fan to blow away the smoke. All right, my number 9 would be that there are a lot of steps. None of them are all that difficult, but it's just it's one of those things where there's everything from finding your first pattern. Go out there on the internet and look on whether it be on Google search or Etsy or Pinterest or whatever, and you get yourself a pattern. Then you have to pick the glass. You go into a glass store and it can be overwhelming to see all the different beautiful glasses that's out there. Whether you want opaque glass, you want to have textured glass, and there's so much out there to choose from. Once you have that, then you have to cut out your part or your pieces. Then you have to mark them on the glass and cut the glass, grind the glass, foil the glass. It can sometimes be a little overwhelming, but the nice thing is that it can be done in steps. It's just that just be aware that there are a lot, and that's why I recommend learning from tutorials before you get started. All right, my last one, my number 10, is don't expect perfect results. I'm not saying your first one is going to be bad. What I'm saying is, like in any hobby, in any artistic form, the person who's going to be the hardest on you is you. You may end up with a line that you think is not perfect or not straight or a little too wide or too narrow. 99% of the time you show that to a friend, to a relative, to anybody, they're going to think it's absolutely beautiful. You will always be the hardest on yourself. Just remember, it's a hobby. You're doing this to have fun. You're doing this to enjoy yourself. And you don't need to be hard on yourself. Don't be difficult on yourself. Your second project will be that much better. Your third project will be even better. So just don't expect that your very first project is going to be exactly what you thought, because even when you're on your 100th project, it's still not going to be exactly what you thought. It's going to be better in a myriad of ways when you get more practice in. But the reality is, the person who's going to be the hardest on you is you. So don't be too hard on yourself. This is a hobby. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyed. Just enjoy yourself. Pick a project that you think is great, that you think is beautiful. Pick glass that you like. Pick colors that you like. Just enjoy yourself. Again, it's a hobby. Have fun. And with that, those are my top 10 things. I wish you all the best in your own stained glass projects. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section below. And thank you very much for watching.